Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, an amazing expansion which, much like almost every other release this year, has been getting absolutely nothing but review bomb. Let's read some. Hurricane says Elden Ring was the easiest Souls game. I can agree. It was mostly organic exploration and a few mildly difficult bosses. Even the infamous Malenia wasn't that hard. Enter the DLC where mobs can one-shot you and tank a lot of damage. Well, not anymore. There's a mechanic where you can increase your damage and your protection if you find some items, but that's just bad design. You mean like in Sekiro? The game you spent 83 hours on and said, the game isn't easy, but it's an easy recommendation. Like in that game, Ali Pog says maybe this caters to people with hundreds of hours in the main game. Too hard for a normal Joe. What? It caters to people who actually play their game? Anhui says the world building is amazing, but bosses are too rage-inducing. Welcome to the Souls-like genre. Bilbo Swaggin says not worth a comment. But you do realize that you just left a comment though, right? Like, Bran Lamb says the DLCs suck. AI just attack you. No need to buy God. Damn it, I can't believe the NPCs actually attack you. Mithril says a game should not make people bored and stressed with its difficulty. I was playing Elden Ring not to get stressed, but to relieve stress. What? When in history has anyone ever played a Souls game expecting not to get stressed? Taylor Colossus says collect 15 Scooby-Doo snacks to fight bosses you fought 100 times already. Lamau. Now I will say this about the new leveling system. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I said earlier, it is very reminiscent of Sekiro, where you collect a certain amount of items in order to upgrade specific stats. And honestly, they could have just stuck with a regular leveling system like they have in the past with previous Soulsborne DLCs. Xiao Dan says, I expected far less recycled enemies and bosses for the price. That is definitely a valid critique. Some copy-pasted bosses from the base game do reappear in the DLC, and honestly, after having replayed Elden Ring, I kinda just avoided them. R Celeste says, I have no time for these countless and meaningless deaths. Not fun at all. Well, you can't really go into the DLC of the guys known for making hard games and expect it to be easy. Even Kai Cenat understands this better than you guys.
If you went through all that hassle 2 years ago, why the fuck would they make a DLC for you to breeze past and be done with in a day or two?
Draco Phoenix says, I do not regret buying this DLC. The base game is amazing. The DLC itself is not enjoyable. Wait, so do you regret buying the DLC? Investing the amount of time I have in this DLC is on me. I should have cut my losses and just moved on. Okay, so you do regret buying the DLC then. The fuck? It's L, not I. The same things that make Elden Ring and all FromSoft DLCs unbearable are very present in Shadow of the Erdtree. Now, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you just don't know what unbearable actually means, but if you've gotten all the achievements and spent 200 hours on the base game, it's not really a sign that the game's very unbearable to you. I'm gonna get so much shit for this video. Please leave a like. Dismaying Axe says every single enemy can and will one-shot you. Listen, unless if you're running around naked or playing on New Game Plus, I somehow really doubt that. Unless of course if we're talking about this guy. Because that guy will fuck you up. Janique says, if this kind of game is the utmost vision of Souls-like gaming, I choose to leave the lands between forever. Well, no one's really stopping you. I mean, you do have the option to just turn the game off. Georgie says, I'm gonna beat it, but I'm not having fun. You know, that is really the beauty about Soulsborne games. That you can have the absolute worst fucking time, but your ego will just not let go. I mean, God knows I still can't get over the fact that I never beat the Bloodborne DLC. Ferb says, not very hard, just annoying to play. Souls fans don't know what hard actually is. Is it Terraria? I bet it's Terraria. Gursav says, I just paid 40 euros for a dodge simulator with awesome visuals and some technical issues. Well, if you already owned the game before the DLC came out, then you probably already knew what the fuck you were getting yourself into. Lord Oat says, Last of Us 2, 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a great game where you can... But like... relevance? Manacle Reap says, can't use seamless, having to do all bosses twice, not being able to use horses, and the having of flasks is terrible. Great DLC. What the fuck? Maternus says, I've seen kids with speech impediments stutter less than a boss fight in this DLC. Yo. You know, and that's the thing, like, I agree, the game can be criticized for something, like its horrible performance on PC, which the base game also shares. But all the actual criticism is kind of just covered up by a bunch of stupid ass reviews. Like, the whole review bombing culture honestly needs to just stop. Muffin says, don't buy. Why would I buy a game I can't even finish? Okay. This shit is way too hard to complete and I'm considering quitting. Wait, so you did buy the fucking DLC? What the fuck, man? Being stuck on the same boss for 2 hours is not a fun gameplay mechanic. Listen, when I first got into playing these games, I was stuck on bosses for days. And yes, obviously the Soulsborne genre is not gonna be for everyone, which is sort of the downside to having arguably their easiest game become their most popular, because going back to roots is just gonna turn a lot of the newer players off. Jay says, this may be an awesome DLC, but not today. What? Nothing's worse than dying in a Souls game due to the game's failing mechanics. The first boss you see in the beginning of the DLC, Fire Giant. Fire Giant? Fire Giant isn't even the first boss of the base game. What do you mean? I've tried for over an hour, try after try, when 90% of deaths are due to the controls not working. When I jump over the flames when his foot hits the ground. Okay, I'm gonna assume that he's talking about the giant furnace guy from the beginning of the DLC. You do realize that you can just you can walk around him, maybe play the game a bit, level up, come back later like you do in most Soulsborne games. Tanox Kalo says, no gods can quadro. Oi, stop! Stop it! Don't give them any more fucking ideas. Smiling Jelly says, lame. Devs of this game think they are some cryptic gurus. They're just lame and pretentious. Well, if they're lame and pretentious, why the fuck do you spend 500 hours playing their goddamn game? The fuck? Literally, they call eyeballs grapes. Look, when you are corrupting the words and redefining what eyeballs should be called, people just know you are a fraud. I have never seen anyone be so pressed about fucking eyeballs. Stanberry says, wow, what a surprise. It's more woke garbage, Woken Ring, Shadow of the Rainbow Tree. Save your money, folks. What? That is the first time I've heard anybody ever call anything Soulsborne related fucking woke. Anyway, that was it. I can honestly feel my brain cells individually die. I mean, reading these is like committing brain cell genocide. Brain cell genocide. What the fuck? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, my Shadows of the Erdtree review should be coming out within the next week or two. So be on the lookout for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.